Hello, this is Mr. Huff, and we're going to talk about alternate views. If you want to go find more detail about this, go look at activity 7.2 in MyPLTW. So basically what this is saying is that we have three different kinds of alternate views we can use. We can use a section view, which is a way of looking at the inside of a part to show the shape as though you were like cutting it in half and looking at the profile there. This is useful for some very complex parts, especially ones that have like a shell or they have indentions that are not holes. An auxiliary view is useful when you have a part that has slanted sides so that you can see what the actual side shape and dimension is. So sometimes you'll need to use auxiliary views to do that. And then the detail view is where you have a feature that's small or it's kind of buried inside the part, but it's important that you properly dimension it. So using a detail view allows you a close-up of that part. So if you look at this example, this is the windshield, and in this case they cut a section across the base view and the top view. The section is shown at the top and you can see the cutting plane. Notice that the lines are like a crosshatch to show that that is a section view. The section view is designated by this dashed line that has a label on each side. It is important that the letters and these lines don't overlap the object. They need to be clearly on the outside of the object. Inventor takes care of the labeling for you. And we've already talked about the section lines and how those look different. There are several different types of sections. You can have a full section, a half section, and an offset section. Most of the time we're going to use full and maybe half. This is probably easier to explain with the diagram. So here we have we have a bunch of concentric circles on the left. It's really hard to understand this part. We have a section view cutting through, and then when we look at the right view of that, so imagine this is cut and then they're going to drag it to the right. So this is the part that's removed, and we're seeing on the inside as though you rotate the part to the right, and this is what we're seeing. Okay, so you can see the section lines cut through the the section lines show up here, and now we can see the internal operation of this complicated part that we don't see from the front view that was originally offered. Now we see a lot more detail. This is why we use a full section view. So this is what the final drawing would look like. Okay. A half section view is used to show just like a little segment. A quarter of it is cut away. So in this case, they have the section view cut from the center down and then along the X and Y axis. And so we can see a partial cutaway here. So we can see the orthographic of the shape, and then we see a partial cutaway to see the interior detail. This is useful if you have a part like this where you have profile that's important and section that is complex. An offset section is a little more tricky, and I don't plan on using this, but if you look at this part here, what they've done is they've cut across here and then set back a little bit to cut across this detail and step forward to cut across this. So we're really seeing profiles or cuts of this hole in this piece, this hole in this piece, and this hole in this piece. So you can see each hole defined. What this lets you do, if you have multiple indentions into a part, you can show them all in one section view. Again, I don't plan to give you anything this complicated. Auxiliary views, this is where an edge is slanted. So you need to look at it where you can see the detail and the shape. Okay. In this drawing, let's take a moment to interpret this orthographic. So we have the front, we have the top, and we have the right. Okay, so when we look at it from the front, we see this little L shape, and when we look at it from the right, we see a hole at an angle, and when we look at it from the top, we see this surface here, which is this. So this surface is this direction. So this side is slanted, this side is slanted, and this side is slanted, and that makes it a little strange. So these are foreshortened. What that means is it's slanting away from us as we look at it. So to show the shape of this foreshortened face, we would pull an auxiliary view off of this side, and that way we can see the rectangular shape and dimension this foreshortened face accurately. I will come up with one example of this for you to do. So in a detailed drawing, we're taking a portion of your drawing and making it large so it's easy to understand or to add critical dimensions on. And the example that they give you is you have this linear gear and it's got teeth on it, and to show you the dimensions of the teeth and the angles applied to those, which are very important if you are making the teeth, then you need to know these dimensions here. So what they've done is added a detail view here so that you can see the angle and the depth and the pitch from one to the next. So this gives you the details of this little area right here. Okay? And that's all there is to say about the different views.